we use the word community very freely, and our initial research showed that there were not communities. There were isolated individual group homes where people generally could go to a day program.
Yeah, that's not a negative thing.
No, that
works for plenty of people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it didn't work for Barr.
Right.
He needed a seamless transition between his home life and his work life, which isn't generally available. So one thing that was important to us was that work and home are on the same location, and he can walk right out his door to the farm and get to work. And if he's done working, he can go right back to his house if he needs to.
So when we were thinking about our vision, one thing we knew is that our son liked to be outside and he liked to do land work. That's what we built our initial vision on.
And that was one of the only things that we'd found when he was a teenager that was meaningful to him. Being in the classroom was not meaningful. Anything that required a lot of fine motor was not meaningful. So we were searching for something that was a big vehicle, and a farm turned out to be what would work for a number of people, including him. And our vision for a community evolved around the farm.
First of all, we are not farmers. We don't farm. We have a hard time getting grass to grow. So we didn't set out for ourselves to have some farm in Great Barrington, Massachusetts. What we found is that our son thrived when he was mucking out stalls or taking care of animals. That does not work for everybody. That doesn't make everybody tick. I'm not sure it would make us fulfilled each day. Part of your vision, you have to really spend some time figuring out what exactly is it that will make my son or daughter, my charge, happy and productive every day.
Mira, who are you most excited to see at school?
Mira is our second child. Of course, there are numerous challenges. She's nonverbal. She needs assistance for everything from toileting to showering to feeding to communicating to moving.
But she's very expressive and she's very social and she loves being around people. She has the most infectious smile and laugh.
So at this stage where we're at right now with her is really looking for her to continue living in a community where she is engaged, where she has the ability to be with peers, where she has meaningful activities, and she can continue to express her full person. Because Mira's not going to independently go off and have a job and just needs a place to come home to where she's safe and cared for, Mira needs to be at a place where she's engaged and there is meaning, and that the people who are staffing the place where she's living are totally engaged and caring with and for her.
I think our concern is that it's going to turn into something where it's just, somebody has to monitor her when we can't. And that's not a life. That's being stuck in a chair and said, okay, yeah, you're not hurting yourself, so we're okay.
It is tempting for people to want to keep their kids at home. We also thought long and hard about that and how to make that work. But the reality is we'll get old and our son will have another 40 years to live. So at some point, you're probably going to have to find a solution that works anyway. And we have found when we're interviewing new residents or trying out new residents that the longer someone stays at home, the harder it is to leave. So if you're a 40-year-old who's now trying to leave home and go to a new community, chances are that's going to be a very hard transition for you.
As Mark and I get older as well, wanting to not have all of the caretaking responsibilities so that we can do things with the boys or do things with each other or travel or things that are just much harder to do with Mira at home. So I just feel like it's not just for Mira. I feel like for the entire family, when we are not living a full and enriching life for ourselves and continually nurturing ourselves, that is projected onto our kids and our kids feel that. And so I think in many ways, the biggest gift for Mira is to see us living a fulfilled life, whatever that may look like.
Mira now has gone for 3 or 4 years to an overnight camp for many weeks during the summer. And the first time we dropped her off was scary. We were in tears. We were like, how can she possibly, be away for that long? She can't communicate. How are they going to?
Well, and then we've just dropped her off with these people who know nothing about her, who aren't even
Right.
in college, right? Or maybe some of them are college age.
Right.
And we're trusting them to take care of her.
And yet when she came out of that, she'd grown and was independent in a way. It was like, made us realize by keeping her here and having us be the only people that take care of her other than when she goes to school, we're stunting her. That's not how you grow. You grow by getting out and trying things and being challenged because the people that are with you maybe don't know exactly what you need. And there's a growth there that happens that didn't happen when she was with us.
For us, we knew he didn't have many options. He had to be in Massachusetts because we were going to need help with Massachusetts funding from the Department of Developmental Services. And the choices were very limited. There were no Camp Hills. The other wonderful programs we'd seen, there's one in northern Vermont called Heartbeat that's fantastic. Some other programs that we just knew were not going to meet his needs. Were too sedentary for him. Not enough support, too active for him. It was really a sweet spot that we were looking for in the middle.
Fortunately for us, when we were thinking about what we wanted our community to look like, we had visited other communities that we wanted to copy. We wanted to emulate. And so we would recommend to anyone else to people who are trying to start a new community that they find something that they want to look like. Our primary inspiration came from Camp Hill School in Pennsylvania. At Camp Hill School, Barr found himself. He found what he could do with his own life. And before he'd been living in our community, Cambridge, Massachusetts, part of a inclusion school program, and that was pretty good, but he had a ton of failures, and he didn't really know what he should do every day. And that was hard to watch. And when he got to Camp Hill School, he could be successful in everything he did. That's how he blossomed. And so we knew he needed to live in a community where he could be successful every day.